Hi guys, this is SDJRSNF88 speaking with another update on the railway room. So welcome to this second instalment on the development of the railway room, and as you can see over the past couple of weeks the room has really come on in leaps and bounds. There's been plenty of progress, plenty of new additions, and of course a few new arrivals as well. So without further ado, let's get right into the update. So I thought I'd start this update with, of course, one of the biggest changes since the previous video. As you saw, the lighting in the last video was pretty awful, to say the least. The energy efficient bulb was just not up for the job, and of course, being a railway room and doing lots of modelling and fine detailing stuff, lighting is extremely important. But as you can see, the pendant, as mentioned in the previous update, is now been put into position and is operational. And as you can see, it makes a world of difference. Everything is brightly illuminated in here, and it just feels, the room feels much larger, much brighter. It really just is ideal. So I'm really pleased with how this has turned out. As you can see, you can adjust the the angle of each of the four lights. Which is ideal, so if I'm filming in a certain location in the room, I can sort of adjust the lights to shine on that area, as you will see later on in this video. So whilst we're on the subject of lighting, I've also got round to fitting the light bar to the work desk, and as you can see, it really does transform the whole area. It's just perfect for what I'll need to be carrying out in this area, whether it's working on a model or, as you can see here, setting up the area for a photo shoot. The light bar, as mentioned in the previous update, is operated by a sensor which is located just at the end there. So if I put my hand in front of it, it turns off, and if I do it again, it turns back on. It really is ideal. In fact, I'm so impressed with the lighting, I've actually purchased another one of these light bars to go on the shelf on the opposite side of the room to help illuminate what will be the layout underneath it. It really is great value for money. I think it was about £25 in total, and that is for one that is, it's about 1 metre long, I believe this one is. It's the largest one you can get, but there are slightly smaller ones depending on what sort of area you wish to put them, but they really are ideal, so I highly recommend them. As well as the addition of the lighting bar, I've also got round to fitting the shelving unit, which will store many of my tools and paints and other accessories I will need for basically, modelling tasks and other bits and pieces. So as you can see, it is now mounted on what is the edge of the chimney breast rather than the centre of the desk where I had it to originally in the previous update. This is purely because I had a bit of a brainwave. Once I got the lighting bar in there, I noticed that using these supports here, there is room for another shelf, roughly about 1 foot wide, which can go from the end support just in front of the shelving unit, so of course I can access the drawers, all the way to the wall. And it got me thinking that that'd be plenty of space to store other items, modelling projects, or possibly even another micro layout. I know that quite a few of you were very interested in the O-gauge weathering projects I carried out in my recent Workbench update. I'll pop a little link at the top of the screen now, and maybe that shelf could be used for a small O-gauge test layout, which will again come in handy for review samples for my work, but also as well, running and using the couple of O-gauge models I got, which are all very small industrials and shunters, which is sort of ideal and makes use of the whole space. So with the shelving units basically almost done, apart from of course the addition of the proposed extra micro layout shelf, I've started bringing down items from the family home to populate the room, and as you can see, one of those items is of course Amiens 1918, and as you can see, it's now sitting in its prided place on the shelf, and it fits in there just perfectly. There's next to no overhang, and that's even with the point rodding on the back. There's plenty of room for its accompanying stock box, which basically holds all of the controllers, the cleaning materials, and of course the rolling stock for the layout itself as well. The legs are stored in another room because they're quite large, so there wasn't enough room to put those in here sadly, but the main bulk of the layout and all of its operating system is actually in here. You probably noticed there is another couple of wrapping paper boxes on the end there. Now those are boxes for the photo planks. Sadly there wasn't enough room on the opposite side of the room with Argonne Forest, as you can see here. Argonne Forest is a tad too tall and the boxes wouldn't fit on top as I originally planned, so what I've gone and done is I've just got Argonne Forest up there along with the wrapping paper box micro layout, which is currently in that bag on the end. I do have big plans for that layout, as mentioned in the video on that particular micro. I'll pop a little link at the top of the screen now as well. And basically that will have some changes done to it in the not too distant future. Many of the bags you see on that sort of stuff is just to keep the rain off when I was transporting it down. I just really haven't had time to take them off just yet. As well as all of the micro layouts, we also have many of the tools and materials that I'll need for building a layout. Now these will be stored underneath the boards as they are quite large, and the plan is to maybe get some little shelving units to go in certain corners underneath the boards here. So the items will come out of these sort of randomly sized storage boxes and popped into their own drawer. But at the moment I'm quite happy with how it is, and I'm able to work with it. And the idea is once the majority of sort of clutter has been cleared, because the boxes do need sorting out and there's just random bits from that shouldn't really be in each box. Once those have been sorted, the idea will be to start bringing down rolling stock, which I could then use on the layouts as well. So before I move completely on from the workbench, a couple of you are probably wondering what is that locomotive that's been sort of sitting on the plank in the background of some of the previous shots. Now I can reveal it is the Locomotion's Models Terrier of Box Hill. Now this is in for review at the moment, and basically I'm going to be doing a little running session with this, hence the reason why the photo plank has been set up. It really is ideal and it's come in really handy while I haven't got a operational full size layout. So what I've basically gone and done is I've just taped the back seam to the wall, put the photo plank in front of it, connect up some track to either end, and as you can see with a couple of these running shots of some up and coming models that will feature in the magazine, it runs really well. And there's been some really exciting models, one that I have been really looking forward to for many years now. And yeah, so do look forward to that coming up in the magazine and of course on the Railway Modeler YouTube channel as well. So before we move on to the next subject, I'm going to leave you with this little clip of that locomotive that I'm really excited about. So as you saw in the previous update, Fry Summerdale was the first layout to arrive in the railway room. And as promised in that video, I said I'll give the layout a clean, get all the lighting set up, put on some rolling stock and get the layout operational for the next update. And as you can see, any second now, there we go, heard a click. The layout is now operational. So without further ado, let's take a closer look at the layout in action. So a couple of you eagle-eyed viewers have probably spotted that there is some track laid on the baseboards where the proposed layout will be. Now this has just been put down to sort of gauge a rough idea on what I could fit in this area. Now I did leave you on a bit of a cliffhanger in the last update, saying that all would be revealed in a special first layout update video. Now I'm still waiting on a couple of items to arrive for that video, so rather than waiting until then, I thought I would do the grand reveal now. So the layout will basically be depicting a very famous section on the Somerset and Dorset, which is of course Linchcombe Vale. Now Linchcombe Vale is between the infamous two tunnels at the highest point on the single line section coming out of Bath on the Somerset and Dorset. So as you can see behind me, we got Devonshire Tunnel. The trains will come out of there off the Workbench onto the embankment in Linchcombe Vale in the valley. It will then cross over the quite funnily named Watery Bottom Viaduct, which has had a few of you laughing with my little sort of teasers I've been putting on the various social media pages such as Facebook. The train will then go into a cutting where it passes underneath Moses Farm Bridge before crossing over the gap in the baseboard, which won't have any scenery on it, but it will allow me to utilise extra camera angles looking into the cuttings on either side before it crosses another viaduct and enters the infamous Combe Down Tunnel, which is the longest unventilated tunnel I believe on the railway network. And of course you can still walk through and you can still see all of this today thanks to the Two Tunnels cycleway, and I highly recommend visiting, and I'm hopefully going to try and get back there at some point in the not too distant future to do a bit of research. But there you have it. I know a couple of you guessed correctly, and I look forward to hopefully bringing you an update on that layout very, very soon. So I guess that's all for this update on the railway room. I hope you enjoyed the progress, and of course I hope you enjoyed the few little sort of reveals and of course running session we've also had in this video as well. So until next time, this has been SDJR Son of 88 speaking, and thanks for watching.